Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for staying stuck here at the CS Summit B stream. We're jumping into Nuke, and we're doing it quick because we've already got a map advantage for G2. Now they're on their home turf, Vince, and I don't think that's going to bode well for the Riders, but I will happily anticipate some sort of an upset. Let's see if they can give it to us now.
I'm completely on board with you, Scrawny. I think this is going to be a difficult one. At least they do start on the CT side, so if they can get that defense locked down, then maybe there is a way forward. But G2, nothing slow about this approach. 3 players pushing ramp, while Hunter already outside is looking for the off angle up on the balcony and takes them down from the railings. Lowell spills out into a death, and Moppa is tagged heavily as he tries to avenge his fallen teammate pushing outside of main. Alex has a good angle, though, to try and fend off the T's as they push and hemorrhage outside of heaven, but now they line up for Amanek, and with the P250, he lays them all down. It's a 3K for Amanek, and G2 pick up the first round on our second map.
Yes, sir. Their first pistol round win here in this series. You know, if there was any consistency that we could give to Riders on Inferno, it was they were winning the first round of each half. It's about all we could give them, but they deserve that much. And in this round, they'll go ahead with the Deagles across the board. 4 smokes. Ooh, we've been seeing this more and more often from Riders, Vince, and I'm all behind it because to me, it's like an element of camaraderie. You know, everybody gets a Deagle, everybody gets a smoke. It's even. It's nice and fair. And then whoever steps up, steps up. But it was 4 smokes, and they're already down to 2. Mopaz takes a little tidbit of damage here, but those MAC-10s, oh my god. Oh my god, I fear for Riders here, dude. 4 MAC-10s ready to just chew through, ready to rip flesh from bone on an A hit inbound.
Yeah, that's the thing about going for Deagles. It means you have no armor, and this is really where the MAC-10 will shine. As kills come through thick and fast, Alex and Steel, though, gonna put up a last stand. A valiant one at that with 2 Deagle frags, and now Kenny S gonna find Eastor out in the open. I was worried for a moment he hadn't seen him. And then spins across to Alex to seal the deal with 3K, and G2 take the 2-0 lead. And unfortunately for Movistar Riders, they're gonna be back into Deagles or just a straight up save. It's rough times.
Yep, it's gonna be rough riding from here to the very end. Regardless of outcome or whatever not, Riders will have their hands full. I mean, you wouldn't have had to have watched any map or any match between these teams to just expect that Riders were going to have to struggle to keep a handle on the likes of G2. And the individuals already shining through today. The follow-up bonus round, of course, here. Just dropping quickly down into the vent with the MAC-10, still playing 4 of them, of course. And waiting inside of the lobby, so it seems. Amanek, well, he's backing up a little bit. Hunter, he's getting closer, and he doesn't see Alex around the side of the red box smoke. A second chance at a Deagle kill here in Mopaz. So do not write off Riders just yet.
Kenny gets smashed down to 30 HP. It is the bonus round from G2, which really should have been just that, but Alex with another Deag. And G2 on the back foot, they are struggling, gasping for a chance, but they're being locked down. Such a good effort from Movistar, and they could be going in for more. Amanek does answer back, but now Alex gets his 3rd Deagle. He's actually on for the ace. He's not going to take it as Amanek with the MAC-10 sprays him out, and this is always the danger. Now it's a 2-on-2, and Mopaz is tagged, and G2 together have the bomb. It's looking like it should still go in their favor.
Should. Yes, most certainly should. And at the end of the day, these deaths won't be that big a deal for G2, assuming they can still walk away with the round win. Because again, you know, it's the second time they've had these MAC-10s. They've already made their money and then some. And, well, they're about to upgrade regardless. But Jax up close versus Mopaz. Sure, he's going to take some damage. Those Deagles sometimes playing like shotguns. You can get up close and personal and just land 2-3 bullets, then you will cut players down. But despite Alex's best efforts, despite 2 sexy Juan Deags, and then that 3rd frag as well, deep lobby, it's just not quite enough for Riders. So now that they're coming in with a full-fledged buy, let's give them a little bit more of a chance here. Single M4A1S on Lowell, opt for Eastort out the gate, and now those MAC-10s chucked to the wayside. G2, 4 actual rifles. Still no sniper, of course, not yet. And they also have Nexus still with the MAC-10. So we shall see the gun rounds the solution for Riders.
Good grenade to kick things off and an incendiary put down, but I think the smokes were already in place. That could just be wasted utility. You typically throw that down earlier to block one of the smokes that skews with the smoke wall, but you can see it's had no effect. So they can still cross there. There's a slight gap on the left side, but that's no problem. So Movistar using one of their few incendiaries, only have one left on Mopos, and it's not going to stop downstairs from being under control, and G2 briskly moving into position. As you highlight, no AWP at Mach 10, Galil, and if they can take this round down cleanly, then Movistar already into terrible trouble. Steel's going to have his head removed, and with his death, B-Site should follow. Hunter going to take off the shins of Mopos as he tries to get a bit of intel for his teammates, and Nexa is still lurking outside. I think, by and large, Movistar realized this round likely won't be going their way, and they're going to just try and save.
Yeah, absolutely that. They've just got to move this one into the next round. Oh, God, and this is such a tough pill to swallow, Vince. You're already down 3-0. You already got blown out of your own map pick, and now you automatically have to save in a 4 versus 5 in the very first gun round. Yes, saving's not the end of the world, but it's just, I feel like it's just the feeling in your gut of letting rounds like this slip by. You know, why? Well, Riders, they had one player on this B bomb site, Steel, behind the actual reactor. And Jax, it wasn't even really up to him, I would say, to find that kill. You know, there's a world where Steel definitely just stays tucked, goes unnoticed, maybe stops the bomb planter, gets CTs down ramp, can call out the forward positions. What if Jax hadn't seen him, decides to sit outside the ramp doors, Steel clearly indicating that to his teammates, and we get an actual retake attempt that could be informed. But they weren't informed about the commitment to B until it was too late. Steel instantly dying, no rotation procedure coming out of Riders prior to it. And so at least it's the easy rebuy. Yeah, that's the silver lining here. It's Riders right back into the gun round. The sketchy situation is that was so easy for G2. They crossed outside, they got to secret, they took the B site with one frag. Like, that just shows the level of intimidation that is coursing through the veins of the Riders at the time being. But gun round's up, and we get a little bit of aggression here out of Alex. He's going to play close smoke on red.
Already tagged by that grenade, but can hear the footsteps of G2 pushing past into secret once again. Smoke and HE tossed down. Kenny can boost up onto the red container, finds Alex between the two smokes, and it's not started too much better. I like the idea of the Riders, but you need to have somebody helping Alex out. If he's out there and someone goes in for that peek, you need to have this AWP. Easter needed to be outside with him. He's going to get the pick on the cross, at least though, onto Kenny S. And that's going to at least keep this down into a 4v4, with Jax going aggressively, gets the lockers kill onto Eastor. Bomb. Sorry, not the bomb. The AWP drops with him. Probably just as important for Movistar in this round. And now Steel at least comes through with one more. Mopos tags Nexa in the head, takes him down. 2v2 here, Scrawny, but anybody's round. It's really on the edge of a razor.
They're already out from heaven. At least the first is. Amanek falls to Steel. There we go, Riders. A little bit of success here on the CT side. But how? Well, I mean, it looked bad, honestly, when we saw outside next to Red Box. Who was it that got caught? I want to say Mopaz. Can you remember, Vince? Alex, yes, excuse me. He was staying next to the red box. He had a gap in the smoke. He knew two players crossed to secret, and he was just waiting for more. He was waiting for the extension of the other two men that he definitely had heard. G2, they weren't hiding their footsteps at the get-go, but then they fell silent. And he stayed on the angle, and he stayed on the angle, and the smoke began to fade, and he felt compromised. And as you alluded to, Eastor wasn't there to help him. Nobody actually covering the top of red. And that's exactly how G2 sniffed him out. They boosted Kenny S onto the top of the red box, and suddenly Alex, he had a player swooping in from above him. Now, what saved Riders? What saved them was that Steel, as opposed to sitting inside of the bomb site, even though knowing that Secret Stairs was at one point compromised, he decided to follow through with a push. He sat at the base of the staircase, told the rest of his team that this was a doubling back from G2, and sure enough, they then started catching some kills outdoors. We had Eastor connect a frag off of the op. We had that push into Squeaky as well. Didn't go too hot for the first guy, but we did see the second, Mopaz, just execute Nexa. Keep that deep position. Hold on to the A bomb site so that when the Heaven Wrap came in inevitably, they were already prepared to hold it off. So I like the moves from Riders. Proactive CT gameplay that gave them information, gave them those mid-round confirmations that allowed them to hold the right positions at the right time. And we see them come out with a round. Now, can they do it twice? That's the big question, because a one-off CT round, it's not going to be nearly what they need. They need to shut down G2, and they got to do it soon.
That's exactly it. How are G2 going to adapt? How are they going to overcome what just happened? Because a lot of reads would have came out of that round. Now they're going to smoke the cross, but a little bit deeper, affording Easter no chances at an early peak. He has to fall back with the flashbangs. There's the adaptation. There is the way the esports, the G2 esports, pardon me, have evolved. And it gets them one, make that 2 kills. Steel goes down in the lockers. That opens up so many areas of the map. They can wrap down ramp if they want to towards B. They can just hit on A site with Nexa already out on the vents. 2 players going through on lobby. And G2 have 24 seconds. They want to make sure they don't overthink this. You still need to get that bomb down. You still need to get this round. And Alex is going to bring down Hunter. That is going to put definitely a sense of urgency across to the rest of G2. Lowell and Mopos, who originally went outside of lobby through Hut, now realize they've got to get back onto the A site again. And in doing so, Nexa is stood there, tall, with the AK, and puts a bullet in the head. With a post plant, it's looking like Movistar Riders may have rotated themselves out of potentially winning this round.
Yep. And it's because of the false confidence given to them by the previous round. Last time, pushing into Squeaky Door was the right play. They cut off that lobby control. They were able to double it back and just shut down the A site. This time, they essentially boxed themselves out of their own bomb site because the T's slip into A while they're still up in lobby and not able to come back through that hut. But damn, playing with the time. And I don't want to take anything away from Hunter's 2 frags, but there was certainly an element to timing to each of those 2 kills. We had Eastor trying to fall back with his op. We saw him flashed on the outside of Hell, but he was trying to get back inside of Hell. He was trying to find that cover and take a peek on his own terms, getting stuck on the door frame, getting flashed in the process. He had a chance to scope in still, but Hunter got the frag. And then Steel. Well, Steel, he was in the bottom of Hell as well, trying to replace the hole made by the death of Eastor. He was watching the Hell door peak. He was holding it, Vince. He was sat there patiently. But the moment he turned his attention towards Locker is exactly when Hunter walks around the corner. Boom. Double entry, and it all unravels from there. So a single round for Riders, and now everything on the line. They bolster up behind what they saved from the last one, but this is a 4-round lead for G2's T side, and no signs of slowing down. They're already down at the base of Secret. Mopaz trying to plug this by playing inside of the vents. He could just stay tucked here. Give up that false sense of map control to G2 and try to hit them from the back. But Nexa through Squeaky, that's the opening kill.
Couple of whiff jumps as well, nearly cost Hunter his life, but Mopos goes back in, takes about 50% of his HP. Alex is watching main push, may get finished off. Will Jax from the back, and Mopos nearly burned alive as well. He's down to 11. That was very awkward, but G2 aren't going to trail by a player. Movistar at least bouncing back in a round they typically would be struggling in, and they absolutely have to win this, Scrawny. The economy is in such rough shape. They've got to hold on to this player advantage.
Hold on with both hands. Maybe just wrap your legs around it too. Hang on for dear life. Tension across the map here as the players in the B bomb site take to their appropriate corners. Eastor back on dark, 1 above the bomb site. Mopaz, he is the most susceptible to death here with 20 seconds left over. He's got 2 Ts in front of him. He's got a helping hand from Alex, who gets his head taken down. Nexa, he's going to walk in, and Mopaz decides to shoot. Kenny clears it with the Tech 9, but he is in a 1v3 clutch with 2 players left. They're both going to come up from the vents as fast as they can, and Kenny can't run quick enough. His ops dropped a 2nd round for Riders. Nice response there, and an excellent bit of patience from Mopaz to just stay tucked in vent despite knowing how close he was to death. It was the patient game that paid off.
Yeah, he knew with his 11 HP, his only job was to get 1 kill minimum out of that trade. If he gets 1 kill, it's going to be enough. As he said, Kenny had 10 seconds to go when he started the bomb plant, had to stick on it. He didn't have any idea where the remaining 2 CTs were, so at least making sure that they had enough money going forward, which they have plenty of actually, and they can buy in the next round as well. Interestingly enough, they could have afforded an AWP. It would have been a glass cannon, but they decided to go for full AKs, which suggests we're going to have a very mobile, fast hit. Good counter utility tossed in though from Movistar is going to keep the T's at bay and allows them to now push through. But one of these players just got tagged off that Molotov. That sound cue may have actually just stopped this ramp push dead in its tracks, and some with grenades for good measure.
This is doable for Riders. This is one of those turning points. We didn't see them with too many openings on Inferno. Aha! And they get that 5v4. Nicely done by Esports. What's the next point of contact here for G2? What's the response? They've got that wall of smokes up outside. That could create the possibility of a B hit, so we already see Mopaz slip down, try to hold back on secret stairs, and at least that's a quick answer. That's not the side of play like a B ramp fallback where it's going to take an extra 10 to 20 seconds to see that this is clear. Mopaz already has that answer. And as he comes around to the top of secret, he's got to be careful. Kenny on top of the silo, T's inside of lobby as well. 40 seconds left over, and they're kind of alleviating a bit of pressure here. There's nothing outside to hold Kenny. Good thing he got stopped by Mopaz, Vince. That could have been everything. Now G2, they're going to have to try and slam their head against the wall out from Hut. They have nothing other than a blunt push. And it's a little too blunt. They can't cut through the defense at all. 4 survivors for Riders. This is excellent for the Spaniards.
Yeah, they needed a bayonet, they had a butter knife, and there's not too much they could have done to push through the HUD. As you said completely correctly, that Kenny S play was so huge for G2. If he gets the upper hand on main, it really does allow the rest of his teammates to force their way through Squeaky and Hut, knowing that some of those crossfires that had been established would actually be pointed towards main instead. So a huge kill onto Kenny affords Movistar their 3rd round. Again, though, their economy is looking better, make no mistake, but it's still not fully stabilized. And with G2 going in for a half buy with plenty of Kevlar and pistols, they can't afford to give anything away, and that's exactly what's happened. And it's an AK-47. And now Kenny can try and push behind this. Is drawing out the shot from Esports, nearly picks him up afterwards, which would have been such a detrimental blow to Movistar's. At least he can survive, but it's opened up B site.
Door swings from Mopaz. That's audio. And he takes damage as well. Jaxie's right in front of him. Ooh, it's the fake plant that pays off. Nobody holding the smoke, but the double door swinging wide gives Kenny the trade frag. Now, there should be the plant, but there's also another player back on decon. This time it could be Alex to come out through smoke. He gets the kill on the player giving cover, and then the bomb planter also falls right thereafter. Hunter back on double doors, trying to buy time for Amanek to wrap around decon. Now Amanek, he's making noise. This should be the cue for Esports, but he doesn't even turn around. Doesn't even give it the benefit of a doubt. Can't double up with the MAC-10, and Hunter also falls. There's time for the defuse. It comes at a cost, but an excellent trio of frags here from Alex.
Alex really has been the man to look for, hasn't he? 13 kills, 5 deaths. Very much the same start on Inferno. When no one on his team was really stepping up, it's actually almost a carbon copy start, just they've had a little bit more success after losing 4 in a row. And they have got 2 bomb plants here, G2, but you have to say, credit to Movistar. A lot of their round wins have been off the back of basically retaking in rifles. Like, sure, that was a half buy with pistols and Kevlar, but they've done a really good job when G2 have had their AWP, when they've had their rifles in play. So that's definitely something to be happy about and optimistic about. The downside, though, is that G2 now going to have another solid buy, and Kenny can afford the AWP. So if he decides to pick that up, maybe that is going to be a determining factor, but he doesn't want to. He takes the AK instead.
Don't want to get too ahead of us, of myself here, Vince, but I think we've actually got a game on our hands. It's starting to feel that way. I feel like there's more electricity between these two teams right now than there ever was at any point of Inferno. So for that, I am thankful. How many more close rounds? How much more success for Riders? Well, that's still yet to be written, but Oh, I love it. The aggression from Esports, just swinging this op around the map. We've seen him pin back behind Hell, waiting for responses in terms of the T's pushing outside, but now he's getting aggressive. Look at this man. He is unleashed at the moment, just going anywhere he wants, when he pleases, and it is working until Hunter takes his head down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Hunter is going to be traded out instantly afterwards for G2, but now Nexus shows his hand with one. Nearly picks up a second, which would have brought the economy down a little bit more, but I think it's safe to say that Movistar have now stabilized. He's still up to 8.1k, can get dropped across the AWP, and if he needs to, he can drop a weapon to Mopos. Actually, already has a weapon dropped across to him, so 5 apiece. G2 conceding 5 of the last 6 rounds after going on a 4-0 streak to start off Nuke. But I say, I'm impressed, Movistar. I'm very impressed by Esports in particular. He had a very slow start. We were saying, why is he not helping outside with Alex, who was all alone? Well, now he's taking the fight to G2. Now he's going to be the one to pressure down. Incendiary kill, and Esports is going to also chip in with a frag onto Amanek. They're trying to vent dive. Meanwhile, Kenny's pushes outside, takes minimal damage, and takes a player with him, looking for a second, but Esports flicks onto him. 2v3. So again, G2, in rounds that you think they're just going to get swept away with, especially as the first two kills went the way of the CTs, keeping themselves in here, keeping Movistar on their tiptoes, and it could be another post plan.
Ooh, Steel with the kill to Hunter, looking for the last one. Next up, occupied, and Steel's gonna get him too. So here we have it. Riders keeping the game going. That's now 5 rounds in a row, and they're starting to stabilize as well here, Vince. 3 survivors in the last 2 rounds. No bomb plants in the last 2 rounds. These are more convincing victories coming out of the CT side. And yes, it is on Nuke. Yes, G2 already have 5 T rounds. There's a chance for them to still take the lead in this half, but at least Riders are giving us something to talk about. They're giving us a game, and they're going to continue to do so here. They've got all the tools they could ask for. Kenny S on the big green, leading the charge as well here. Think about it. Esports, he tried to start last round. He didn't try, excuse me. He did start last round successfully with the ramp peak on the off. Now it's Kenny's chance to take him back, but Esports, he throws that flash in, dropping Jax after the initial trade frag. Mopos is wasting no time by pushing through the squeaky door and taking the entirety of lobby to his favor. His team has fallen back off of the ramp. They have opened the door to G2. Lowell, he will be burned out of position here, but still able to take down Kenny S because he had so little health. And with Kenny going down, nobody actually held Lowell inside of the Molotov. So Vince, he even escapes after the fact, hangs on to the 3v2.
It's actually such a smart play for Lowell to pull off there, but Hunter looks like he may get the drop on Mopos. It's not an angle you're typically going to check. Everywhere but here, and now Mopos, perfectly positioned, does actually get checked by Hunter, but still too fast on the trigger, leaving Amanek on ramp. Does have the bomb, gonna fake as if he's dropping in towards the control room stairway, and now changes angle of aggression. May take down Lowell if he goes for a preemptive peek, and Alex is watching the rotation. So there should be no way that Amanek can get out of this alive. If he is, it's going to have to be raw violence that fills off against him. Switching the AWPs, going back downstairs again, and now Alex can move in position, pivot in, and potentially get the shutdown. Won't be happening from Alex's perspective, instead it is Lowell. And what I think is so smart about how Lowell plays that is if he doesn't get a kill when he peeks, I think he stays behind the silos to try and stall the push. But because he does get the peak, and Incendiary comes down behind the silos, and he knows, okay, we've got a player advantage, it's unlikely they rush down, I can take the fire damage to get into decon, because that's a better position to retake from. I can have more impact from there. So well played from Lowell.
Individual levels, now enough. They were out of it on Inferno. This looks like a completely different team at times. Alex trying to keep it up. Quick steal through the Molotov goes Amanek. That costs him a ton of health. And the pistols behind it are looking to just follow through, but seems like they've got other ideas. Don't blame them. Too much utility to be comfortable running through that. Minute still up on the clock. No reason to get that desperate, Vince. They can just hold for a moment, and in doing so have actually thrown Jax outdoors. So maybe he gets some sort of a long-range Deeg headshot. Maybe he can take some pressure off of Mini, potentially split into the A site. There it is. There it is. He takes down the top fragger for the side of Riders. A long-range Deagle headshot outside. CT start to respond with Steel flanking through the ramp room. and he cuts off the head of Hunter. Now we've still got 2 Ts inside of lobby. And Jax, well, he's managed to compromise heaven here. There's nobody actually here on him, but there are players just beneath. And if he can find another kill, that would be huge. But he decides to go down the ladder, and that's going to be watched by Esports. Too easy. As Steel gets that 3rd frag, it all falls on Nexa.
Well done, Steel. Very well played. Aggressive, holds the line for a 3k. Nexa's at least going to bring down that economy a little bit, but down he goes as he tries to hop into vents. Mopos cleans him up. This is a great streak for Movistar. It's 7 rounds in a row with only 2 post plants, 2 defusals, and 8 of the last 9. This is very much a completely different story to what we saw on Inferno, where if anything, the roles were reversed. So you got to give them credit here on G2's choice of map. They've came out swinging. They're here to stand and fight.
And I'm all for it. RMR points, money, it's going to be very important to riders. G2 Esports, they've had an entire month of tournaments. We've been waiting for the good showing here from the Spaniards. Again, the only results they have in the Summit 6 is a best-of-3 win over top of Fate. An upset performance in the qualifiers over top of Dignitas is what got them into this event to begin with, and 2 BO3 losses to North. So a win over G2, that would be a statement and a half, even if it's just 1 map. They're looking for the outdoors control. They've got it. They're back behind the little blue. Eastor unable to follow suit with the 2nd kill, but he at least shaves 1 off. And now it's the mini play in question. Lowell, he's trying to keep Hunter in check. May even decide to extend around these corners. They have to be cautious. 3 Ts right there. They want to take lobby, but they also know that their backline's compromised, and it's just a matter of timing. Damage done to 2 of the 3 Ts in through mini, but it's not nearly enough just yet. Steel looking to maybe go up for heaven, maybe to wrap around mini. Aminex keeping him honest outside, whether he knows it or not. And Alex, well, I mean, there's no way he gets out of vent without a teammate to create a distraction. So this is a strong post plant for G2. It's been a long while since we saw them win a round. 7 straight from the CTs, but it seems that streak comes to an end here.
An abrupt end indeed. G2 had a vast discrepancy in their favor of utility early on as well. Movistar went through a ton of their grenades in order to try and take map control, and G2 just put out a beautiful wall of smokes outside, faked as if they were going to drop into secret, and then instantly wrapped into outside control. You saw Eastor go for a wide peek. He got 1 kill, as you correctly said, and then I was confused that he wide peeked the 2nd player. It's almost like he didn't think it was possible 2 players could be peeking him at once. And that kill, not only does it bring it down to a 4-on-4, but it gives so much map control to G2. That's where they can poke and pierce and punish Movistars, and they ended up being successful. So honestly, even though Movistars have come back with a great streak, if G2 can get an 8-7 half going through into their CT side, it's still a great half.
Guns up as well, so we get to finish strong, Vince. A pleasant surprise in this showing from Riders, I'm not going to lie. Especially after like the 4-0 start, and then the CTs win that 1 round. Ts take it right back. I was thinking to myself, oh god, it's another blowout. But we have been given a delicacy here from the Riders. Nicely done. They get aggressive inside of lobby. They've taken that 5v4 yet again. I will say the proactive CT plays, that's what's really gotten them here. You know, not shying away from throwing Eastors off deep down ramp room. Not finding themselves too timid when it comes to the rotates. Sometimes being overly ambitious and then still being able to claw it back. Alex with another frag versus Aminek as we find G2 struggling to take map control outside. NES tries to go for the wallbang into hell. It is just the 1-man advantage, but Hunter's damaged. Alex as well, now down for the count. 3v3 turns 3v2. Steel keeping his head on a swivel. Nicely done. Besting Hunter, who tried to get another one of those late lurks into hell. It's all shut down to the favor of Riders. They get themselves a 3-round lead as they switch over to the offense, Vince.
Yeah, the timing was so good from Movistar. Also, stacking 2 players in lockers, you could see visibly shocked Kenny as he went for the wide peak after picking up the AWP frag. I think what ended up happening is because there was a spray through the smoke of the wall of smoke outside, and they lost a player and took a lot of damage through there, they decided to try and change it up again and fake for that downstairs control for the second consecutive round. Just a slightly different take on it. You saw this really nice boost on Kenny S as he shoots the player that peeks outside from heaven, and that's where you're thinking, okay, this is where things start to fall into place for Movistar, for G2, pardon me, as Movistar were hemorrhaging frags. But Steel was such a great hold again in the lockers, getting 2 or 3 kills, the second of which he should never be really favorite to get because he'd get given his position away from lockers, but still somehow holds the line with his M4. 9-6. Strangely enough, Scrawny, I know this is going to sound like an odd statement to make. I think both teams will be relatively happy with this outcome. Movistar because they started effectively a 5-1 behind, and G2 because there was that vast streak in the middle of the half where it looked like they would never get another round in. I think this leaves the game perfectly poised to go either way.
And I'm down for that, Vince. I'm not going to lie. You know, we've got one best of 3 on the B stream. It was looking like it was going to be the quick 2-0, and we were going to have to go find something else to do. But now, I would love for this one to unfold on Mirage. I don't think that Riders are going to have it easy at any point in this series, and I definitely don't think that that first half was easy either. It took some great showing out of Alex. I mean, let's not, leave that unaddressed. 16 kills, 8 deaths. That's almost like a Hunter-esque performance from Inferno. And I think it would have been way too easy for Riders to just jump into this second map, accept their fate, just die here in the 9-11 decider. But no, sir. Little bite back, He doesn't like being bullied. Caged animal can be a real threat, and that's exactly what Alex has given us. Steel by his side, the second highest performer for Riders as well. But this little halftime break comes to a close. So we focus forward on G2's CT side. What's the buy? Well, simple. Kevlar for 4, smoke and a defuse kit on Jax. And there's a nice little bit of utility here for the Riders, so I want to see something smart.
They're going to be tossing 1 player down into the vents, which will be Mopos, which would have definitely been hurt. Just alone, though, they may falsely assume that that's everybody dropping down in there. Now they've seen the wall of smokes. Nexa missing his chance with the USP, but information will be given across to the rest of his teammates and still takes off the head of Lowell. See how he just stalled? He staggered his USP headshots. Very well done, but they're still down on the lower side. Kenny S now being swarmed by T's with the Glocks, and Steel puts his to use. Amanek, though, comes back with a USP frag, dropping the bomb out, and our Nexa changing up his positions, suppresses Alex. Eastor with a fire kill onto Amanek, courtesy of a Molotov, and now goes in for more and drops Jax down with his last bullet in the magazine. And our Nexa, who saw the first action, is the last player to fall. Movistar Riders gonna take the second pistol. That's 3 of 4 pistol rounds in this best of 3.
Yep, absolutely. And the first 2 times on Inferno as well, they converted it for the full points. So this is boding well for the Riders. And easy buy back up. We'll give props to Nexa. Had himself a clean little pistol there. Taking down a couple players towards Secret. The reposition as well into the Secret stairs where he got his original kill. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ceasefire, ceasefire. Vince, it's not live.
There has been a malfunction, a weapon jam. And Movistar Riders needed to quickly pause that one. I think it was G2 that asked for the stop, the tech issue, so hopefully that's going to be fixed shortly. Apparently everyone's happy.
Vince.
Nice.
Look at that.
What you love to see.
Lickety split here.
Efficiency, Scrawny. I appreciate it.
German efficiency. We learned all about it in Leipzig, Vince.
Indeed.
How many hours were you stuck on the train?
I think it was like 16, 17 hours. Feels good.
A madman. 3 Mac 10s, a couple of rifles here for Riders. G2, what's your response? Well, MP9 on Nexa. Money for Jackson Kenny. They decide not to go with the Kevlar, just the Deagles. When you're getting the Juan Deags, you don't need Kevlar. You don't think about your own safety. You just think about smashing them with the hand cannons. Meanwhile, Hunter, he's got that Kevlar CZ, moves through the vents easily. And with a smoke, could buy a little bit of time here. Alex, he's just making sure nobody can come peek them from Secret. And of course, what's this do? Well, it gives all the room to work for Riders outside.
Yeah, and you better believe they're going to take it. They're going to snatch at that opportunity. Mollying and smoking outside with a flashbang. Moves into position. Jax understands what could be coming up. Nexa positioning close to Secret behind that smoke that is now dissipating. And he may see action against Alex sooner rather than later, who has the MAC-10. Amanek up and over smoke to try and block off Heaven in the eyes of the T's. But that smoke has limited time left on it, and there will be enough for Movistar to push behind that. You can see from Amanek's positioning, it's almost like a brick wall in his mind. It's like, okay, I don't have to worry about this push anymore. Grenade goes in and lands in the pocket of Lowell. That's a big HE, and that's going to put Movistar into a bit of an awkward position, because now when they push in, they're in the range of those pistols, and meanwhile, Jax has made moves and pivoted and swiveled behind them. In hell, 20 seconds to go, they're spilling out onto the side. It's an absolute mess, an absolute disaster, as the remaining two Ts are so incredibly low on HP. Any bullets are going to finalize. There's the first from Nexa, and he cleans up with the MP9. A 4K from Nexa and a 7th for G2.
Uh-oh, Vince, that one makes me worry a little bit. Everybody's allowed to make mistakes. That's just a part of life. You know, we make them, we move on. But that's a damning round for Riders. You know, it's one thing to have a good enough showing on the CT side of Nuke. It's another thing to win your pistol, lose the versus the force buy, and then struggle to recuperate economy here. They're not going to have enough to actually get the full-fledged purchase. And I think with Riders realizing that they are still not favorited to win, even with that first great half, it's not like it's going to be easy to close on Nuke. G2 CT side, very competent. So they're not going to try to waste anybody's time with the little half buys. They get one deagle for Mopaz and just want to get right back into the gun rounds. They want the tools to play with. And Mopaz, well, he's lucky enough to dodge that first frag grenade, which does so much damage on 3 of these Ts. They won't even be able to get Nexa out of Mini without losing 4 players in the process. So Kenny S tippity taps with the USP to find the final frag. Money back in the hands of Riders, op included for Lowell if need be. And everything for the CTs already starting to rack up here. That free Kalashnikov, the 3 M4s, the op on Kenny S, and just that op on Kenny alone scares the shit out of me. So I don't know about Riders, but I would not be looking for that gunfight to start these rounds.
No, especially as he's been in some fine form over the duration of this best of 3. We didn't really see him taking it that much on the T side, though, to be fair, but now CT, whole different game altogether. Mopaz tries to thread the eye of the needle, does a bit of damage, and Alex dropping down. The crossfire, though, is good, and Nexa comes to the aid of his AWP. Kenny survives on 13, but Hunter caught with the grenade out as the smoke plumes at the top of the hut actually could mess up with the vision from his Heaven players. Nexa, though, using that gap in the smoke to his advantage, but downstairs has been clobbered, has been completely and utterly neutralized, and Lowell will be post-plant with his teammates.
They found 2 frags versus Jackson Hunter. Poor Hunter, he gets cleared off of the top of the hut roof, and that was because Mopaz just found great timing. You know, he heard him moving around, and Hunter was just trying to jump up to drop some utility. Steal, he's going to give chase to Nexa here, so there we go. Even despite losing out that first player, and may I say, nicely done, Nexa. You saw how flustered Kenny S was when Alex came flying off of the roof of Mini. That speed and aggression, the pace from Riders was enough to just instantly make G2 uncomfortable. But Nexa, deep inside of Garage. I mean, Alex could have killed Kenny S. Nexa trades it for the 4v4, and we still would have kind of praised Nexa for that position. But for him to save his teammate and allow Kenny to now move that op forward, that's the silver lining for G2 in that round. What doesn't go well is Mopaz finding timing, splitting vent, screwing over that B bomb site stack, and more crucially than anything else, Vince, it was the kill from Decon door into the control room. Because of the speed of the round from Riders, there was no chance for G2 to shuffle control down to that B bomb site. They didn't have the procedure in place fast enough. And rapid aggression from Riders seems to be a little bit too much to handle, at least here at the start. A back and forth affair. Sure, it was 2 CT rounds in a row, but the economy's in question. They're going to bottom out the bank accounts to get everything they could ask for. G2 will be right back in with the full-fledged buy, but Riders are in a very real position to create some waves here on an early T side.
You've painted the picture beautifully there, Scrawny. It's absolutely the situation that both teams find themselves in. And, you know, across on G2, Again, we go back to that evolution. How do you deal with some early setbacks? How do you deal with what Movistar have just thrown out against you? Are you going to be caught off guard, Hunter on top of the hut, completely caught with his pants down and a smoke out? These are the kind of situations that you don't expect a team of G2's caliber to fall for more than once. And so Movistar should be aware of that. They should be cognizant that going hyper-aggressive like that anytime in the next few rounds will probably be punished. How do they change it up now? It's going to be slower, more standard from the T side, with G2 occupying pretty default positions as well.
You see, now you can feel just the seriousness of the situation sink in. It's no rapid aggression. It's no wild runs. Both teams realizing that this is one of those hinge rounds. Regardless of the result, there could very well be a snowball effect to whoever wins this one. Esports, he's trying to keep his eyes on two sets of positions. Look at this. There's a player inside of the lobby for the CT side. But all the while, Ryder's doing a good job of getting the man advantage. Mopaz, he's going to try to compromise Heaven. But there's nobody actually on the A site because, Vince, they're inside of the lobby. And in that lobby is exactly where they dropped the bomb. You could have Riders all across the map, but what they don't have is their own damn bomb and any clear route in getting back onto it.
Yeah, they need the ordnance desperately, and with 23 seconds to go, Movistar Riders are low Alex, Mopaz, pretty much the last line that they need to be building behind. The timing not on his side either. Hunter spins around just in the nick of time, takes down the third player as well with Alex, and G2 weather the storm. And I feared the worst for them, man, because Kenny died very early on in ramp. I thought that was the moment where they were going to spill downstairs. They're really going to be pushing together. But as you highlighted, they didn't have control of the bomb. And, you know, it's kind of like having control of someone's head when it comes to, you know, wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever. If you don't have that, you don't have the hips, then basically there's not much else that you can do with any of the limbs. And that's where Movistar just fell into that trap. They're going to be going for a force, 2 pistols, 3 rifles, and they're just going to go aggressive outside.
Nex is on the double door stairs. He hears this pace. He hears this movement. He cuts down Steel first. That's one of the 2 pistols. Alex inside of the fire. Loses a little bit of health. Now, at least they've got map control. They've compromised some positions here. But the CT's easy response. Come down ramp. Jax, he's been posted up this entire time. It's this gunfight that helped out the T side last time. Decon doors towards control. Jax, well, he's got 1, but it's instantly traded back. We're into the even man situation. Straight up 3v3. Oh, Kenny, blinded. Able to drop the head of Lowell. Esports, he may have a safe plant, but he's afraid he's going to get rushed. He's being bombarded by utility, and I think that desperation starts to sink in. He's going to just go for the bomb plant. Kenny S takes down his teammate, and here he goes too. A clean sweep for G2.
Yeah, that shot from Kenny was excellent. Had an idea as to where the aggression was coming down the right side of the site. Pulled the trigger. Movistar not able to make the most of that force buy. Even with a post plant, they're in an awkward position economically. I'm expecting to see maybe Tech-9s and Deagles. They know the economy from G2 at this stage in the game is nowhere near low enough to justify forcing. Because if you force here and it backfires for Movistar, you may have just played yourself out of the map. You still have a round advantage. You don't have to rush in for this. But the downside is now you know G2 on their home choice, on their turf, have 2 AKs, a really solid buy, and all the grenades they could ask for. This is really getting into hard mode now for Movistar.
And this is where that, that wiggle room from their successful first half kind of comes into play. Like, you did the arguably easier job there on the CT side. If it wasn't for that early pistol, G2 may have even less rounds for the moment. But this CT side, it gave them wiggle room. Gave the T's 2 separate individual round wins. Nothing consecutive as of late. And the Riders, well, they're also playing against the fact that they don't have much cash. Upgraded pistols, lackluster utility, no Kevlar here. 22nd round could be a very lopsided one. We could see G2 tie up pretty easily. But then again, one good Deagle headshot and things could be compromised. Nexa, he cuts off the player around from Mini and they're rapidly going to try to move this down towards B. Door swung wide. Jax already in position, but Steel just pops his head off, and he's going to go for that bomb plant. Take what you can.
Oh, they're feeding off the scraps and then some, Scrawny, and now it really does change the impetus for G2. It's them that have to go aggressively. And he's still going to catch Kenny, who's stuck in a really awkward position, back to the wall. And out come the teaser, dink onto Amanek. He is going to hold on for the kill, but he is so very low. Eastor flicking onto Nexa, picking up the AWP from Kenny S. And this is now winnable. Movistar in a position where they could actually make this half buy and not much more work for them. Steel shows his hand. Here comes Hunter with one. And now it comes down to the AWPer versus Hunter. He has a kit. The time is running scarce. Lands the shot, but not enough time for the defuse. And he can save the AWP, but the round is over. Movistar pick it up in style.
That bomb plant can make really wild situations. You know, the moment you've got these CTs then playing against the time, playing against the clock, and you still had riders all around the map, that's a nice one. That's a real feels good moment for riders. Not only do you not lose your lead, but you just bolstered your own economy with a round you had no business winning. Sure, you lose everybody, but it wasn't as though it was the force buy that would leave them strapped for cash. That wasn't expected at all. They got their bomb plant money and the win. Huge moment for riders there. That 20-second round will be one to remember. If this T side can just crush the economy of the CTs, which is entirely on the line right now. There's one round of loss bonus for G2. There is nothing for riders. They need to keep guns in their hands, and they need to keep G2 pinned against the wall. You give them the room to bounce back, and G2 will absolutely make something of this CT side. Auto shotgun on Jax. Op up for Kenny. A single defuse kit on Hunter. Movistar Riders, that 2-round lead. They go heavy into the lobby. They've got players on the rooftops. They've got Alex with a set of prying eyes outdoors. Hunter with the possibility of swooping in through Squeaky just decides to block it off with smoke. A temporary hindrance of vision. NES, weird angle. Very patiently back inside of the secret stairs. It gives them a good ability to, if they take that outer control, if they throw up that wall of smokes, then Kenny S could just fall back position by position here. This is one of those fallbacks that gives you 2 or 3 angles to stop, shoot, fall back, stop, shoot, fall back. And it also opens the possibility of him to get aggressive. He postures for the top silo. There's nobody there. There are T's down here on the ground level, but he doesn't want to risk losing his head by extending too quickly. He needs to hit at that perfect moment.
Wait, that was the most awkward thing I've ever seen. Lol stabs Eastor, they go for a run boost, it misses, and he craters to 59 damage. Like some proper clown school shit. I'm just sat here buckled while you were talking, sorry. It completely caught me off guard. I don't know if they caught that on the stream or not. 30 seconds to go. Nexa again. By the way, Nexa has been a real nuisance in this garage. I feel like this is 4th or 5th time he's got the first pick.
Pull back from Lowell. That's Jax's noob tube out of the situation. They're aware of the flank. They call it out, but Hunter, he culls them. Steel, he's going to be desperate for that lobby control. It's Hunter's timing that seals the deal. Yeah, sure, Riders able to best Jax, able to get him off of that ramp room, but a crucial round from G2. And nothing came from Kenny S as elegantly as I tried to paint the picture there outdoors. He's just not able to find any kind of an impact. It all boils down to that ramp room hit. Sure, the hit itself, good enough to kill Jax. But there was no follow through, Vince. They kind of sit stagnant for a moment, and that's what allows Hunter. And you saw those 2 Ts turning attention back as well. They thought about the idea of Hunter flanking them, but Hunter was just 2 steps ahead. This game boils down to milliseconds and millimeters. And that's an instance of it that really costs Riders, because look at the buyback. This is everything. This is no save round. This is no half little curb purchase. This is everything they have on the line in the form of Deagles and a single Tech 9.
It's a very good point. There's going to be more pressure. Before, when they went for these half buys, they know they can fall back to a full AK round or even AWPs, but that's a hell of a Deag on Kenny S, stuck outside. Tries to turn around. They're going to nade away the AWPs. They can pick it up, and Steel also comes out with a 1 Deag. Amanek's going to deny the AWP from trading hands. But it's still a 3-on-3. How many times have G2 been up against these half-buy force buys with pistols and let this slip? This is outrageous.
Oh, it's sketchy too. Alex, he's trying to give chase to Nexa, who's decided to get aggressive here. Screw the ramp room. You know that there's already players past it. Just go ahead and forfeit this over, but he is now coming back on high alert. Nexa about to peek into the second tee, and Esports immediately scopes in to drop him. Man advantage up for G2. Excuse me, against them. And Hunter, if he swings that door wide, there's a sniper scope on him. The T's drop a smoke on the bomb site, but they haven't yet committed. Esports with the bomb itself, doubling back here, just trying to figure out if there's another flanker. Think about the way that Hunter has hit them from behind, that Nexa has slipped in between them. And Amanek, well, he cuts off Lowell. That bomb's gone through heaven. 2 T's up in heaven, one of which drops for the bomb plant. Now, there's no way for Esports to get this op back above. Alex, he is compromised if Amanek wraps around heaven. Amanek would have heard that drop as well. So now that should tell you that the bomb planter's already down there and a second player has fallen. This opens up heaven for a very real retake. Frag grenade comes up the ladder. Amanek's the first set of eyes. Hunter side by side. And do they decide to make this happen? Off of the flash, they're going to try to push. Alex looking to lock them in, traces down the first and takes the second. 1 point of health makes the difference. Alex with the 3K, and he is the reason that they had rounds on that CT side. He has been at the top of the scoreboard for Riders from the get-go, Vince. 4 back and forth rounds. No consecutive round wins. A second half that is scraping by with the skin of their teeth. They had nothing in this round other than the Deagles and the Tech 9. Bare bones utility, and they still made it work. That outer play, that long-range Deag from Steel, even chasing the op into the hands of Amanek, who was positioned in heaven, that wasn't enough to stop them. They could have gone down to the B site where Hunter lied in wait on Decon, but they even decided to double back that play. Riders, they are doing this patiently. They are doing it with a clear mind. They are moving their pieces appropriately in the mid-round, and they're dodging mistakes. That's the crucial point here, man. They're getting away from those little moments where G2 are trying to capitalize. They're just, it's like they're omnipresent to every single threat.
Well, Movistar are playing so very well, but I'd also counter that by saying that G2 are making some big oversights. These are rounds on Nuke. On their CT side, you would never expect them to even have close. And so take nothing away from Movistar. They've been exceptional. But G2 really cooling off after that Inferno performance. You'd never think this is their choice of map if you didn't know much about CS. You'd assume that Inferno was their choice. And this is Movistar's. Amanek now aggressive with a 5-7. They decide not to go for a full force because the fact that they are so close to a loss, but I will mention that with Jax down to 1400 with no real round loss bonus coming up, they're buying the next round on a couple of these players is not going to be ideal either. So you're looking at Movistar potentially running away with our second map and actually taking it into a third. Kenny's a dead man. He never really had a chance. Mopos very patiently and passively pulls down on the ladder. And now, although Hunter is going to give a brief glimpse of success on G2, he is silenced and Jack's last man standing. So it will be a 14-11 scoreline with G2, a couple players with a pretty rough purchase.
This is turning out to be quite the awesome showing for Riders. This is kind of what I was hoping for if we got Vertigo back in the map pool. You know, I expected like a good, strong improvement from their previous score of 16-1. And I thought with Nuke that maybe that would kind of counteract it. But this has not been an easy T-side for Riders. That's what I really want to hammer home. Not only has it been impressive at moments, but it's been impressive when they have so little to work with. You know, winning rounds with pistols, winning rounds with the lesser buy, man, that takes resilience. It takes belief in your own system. It's way too easy to just write off the pistol rounds and focus only on the guns. But they're doing it. They're shining when the pressure gets the strongest. You've got G2 back in with another buy. What could be one of their last. They're going to have to force all the way. They lose this one. It's dire straits. Movistar Riders actually pushing us to Mirage. So it seems, but it's not over just yet. 3-round lead held onto by the T side. Early utility just being blanketed into that A site. Esports watches Squeaky with his op, and there's 2 Ts in front of him here. So smoke meets them, and they're going to have to readdress the situation.
No doubt it's been rough on the side of G2, but as you said, it's not over just yet. They can still shift through the gears. They can still awaken from their slumber. And so the T's should tread lightly, which they've done so far in this round already. A lot of utility has been expended on the CTs. They only have one smoke and incendiary left. Plenty of flashbangs, but no kits is going to be a potential banana peel as this round does come to its conclusion. And G2 going to be having Jax with the XM perched up in ramp, by and large playing alone. Behind this smoke, though, and he has heard an incendiary and a flashbang go past him. This is tailor-made for the XM. There's one, looking to try and pick up a second one. Can he hold the line for two? No. Just the one frag, but it's a decent trade, all things considered. It does open up ramp, however, for G2 to worry about.
Lowell, gotta be scared ever so slightly in that situation. Is there a player on boost? Is there one sitting back behind box? Is there a quick hell peek? You know, just that shotgun close. Is that the entirety of the B hold? Questions he has to ask himself as he slowly sniffs out the situation. Again, he has found an open route towards heaven, and once he gets into position, this A site's compromised. Hunter, first casualty, Amanek and Kenny both swinging it back. That's a man advantage for G2. 10 seconds left, and Amanek cuts them down. No entry allowed. A site closed. Come back tomorrow. Come back in round 27, perhaps. But what will they come back with, Vince? There are definitely players here for Riders that don't have that much cash.
Man, Amanek's kill was huge for that round. If he dies, it allows them to wrap outside of heaven, and the player around Vent is dead. He's a goner. Such a massive frag for Amanek, keeping G2 not just in the round, but probably the map, because their economy would have been awful coming through. It's going to be an aggressive hit from Movistar as they look to try and push straight outside of Vent. I actually thought they were going to try and Vent dive. Instead, they bypass it to go into main, and it's completely been wrecked, torn apart from Amanek's M4. Doesn't lose a single point of health with 3 kills and maybe more, but Steel spins across with the deagle and takes him down. Eastor had the opportunity to maybe go for the knife steal. Surely not. Surely Kenny doesn't drop. He does drop
What?
through heaven wall. It's a 2v2 Scrawny. How the hell is this happening again?
I don't comprehend it, but I will happily watch with wide eyes as, to my surprise, Riders have a chance here, and Steel, he's got himself another. 3 kills out of nowhere. They had already been blown away. Steel down to 2 HP. Jax, last man up here for G2, trying to keep himself out of a compromised position, cannot afford to get split between these two Ts, both of which with hands on M4, but his right side, it's exposed, and Eastor could have walked around this corner. Despite him walking back towards Squeaky, Jax is going to follow suit. And if he goes Squeaky door, that's one thing, but he's actually just giving up full control of the bomb. Maybe he wants to double back to heaven. And that actually, with the T's on the A bomb site, could have worked. Imagine if he comes on for the retake from heaven, but they don't go to the A site, Vince. They go down to B. And Jax, yeah, he's wrapping the wrong bomb site. He's going to have to go into the retake on B, playing against the clock. And even with more HP, it is not going to be an easy situation.
No, and he has to make noise as well because he doesn't have that much time. Once he gets into position and cordons off all of these areas, he knows time is going to be of the essence. Now, both players 1 bullet away from death. Opens decon door. Going to be pivoting round. He has a smoke, he has a flash, and he does have a kit. So maybe he can try and tap the bomb. He's just going to stick it. He's occupying the hope that they're not going to peek this, that they assume it's going to be a fake. But Steel, the massive brain on those shoulders, the massive carry on those shoulders with a 4K, gets them across the finish line. And they have 3 map points. Incredible.
I mean, just incredible. This T side doesn't hinge on elaborately executed full-fledged gun rounds. It hinges on the fact that even with nothing left in their hands, okay, we're not just talking walking into the round 5 deagles, 1 kill each for everybody across the board. Yay, the whole team celebrates because it was like this nice bonding experience. It is just Steel with a deagle in a 2vx. He wall bangs the guy up in heaven. He tagged Kenny S ever so slightly and finished him through the wall. How is that fair? How are you able to replicate that in what seems like every single time Riders are down on pistols? Every single time G2 are supposed to have an easy round, Vince, it looks harder than ever before.
Especially when you consider it was off them just rushing out of Squeaky into A main, and Amanek gets 3 kills for free. I just can't believe it. It's like G2 are just falling asleep at the wheel when it really counts. They're fully focused in these full rounds, but when it comes to these fast pushes, they just can't quite seem to get the right formula, the right remedy, the right cure. And now they find themselves in the force buy. They find themselves with 3 map points to try and save. A game that should on paper have been easy. This is rated 3rd team in the world against 33. There are 30 places between these two teams. And on the map choice of G2 on Nuke, they have faltered, they have stumbled, they have tripped and fell. But they still have to try and fight. They can still pull this off. We have seen crazier things happen. Hell, just have a look at how Movistar Riders have got a bunch of their rounds. G2 absolutely could win this.
Yeah, G2's inspiration right now should be their opponents and their ability to, in an uncanny fashion, pull out round wins all too often in situations like this. Nexa, he's tucked into the corners of Decon. Hunter and Amanek, the 2-man army, splitting in with the ramp push. So 4 players lobby. G2 are being proactive. They're making moves, but so are the Riders. Closer and closer to this B bomb site, completely foregoing the side of Decon. So it's not like Nexa is going to be able to find anything with this Deagle. He very well could be the closest player to the post plant. We may have a 5v5 post plant retake attempt where G2 have to do it and they have no kit on them at all. Mopaz, open bomb plant. Hunter, no, Nexa, he swings that door wide and does get 1 kill. Then it's Amanek inside of the vents to get the next. The damage so substantial, and the frags, they're starting to come back. Everything that's left for G2 is over here towards the control doors. They're going to just stay shoulder to shoulder, trying to trade train their way to a 13th round win. Mopaz is posted on the double doors. They swing, and he shoots. Steel connects the next one, and just like that, Riders with 2 players left, somehow, some way, in miraculous fashion, survive pistol round after pistol round on Nuke, and they push this to the 3rd map, Vince.
I don't really have words for you, Scrawny. I'm not entirely sure what to say. I am speechless. I'm bamboozled at what we just saw. The amount of rounds that G2 had in the palm of their hand, only for it to slip and slide out of there. Take nothing away from Movistar Riders. Hell of a performance. Like so many huge moments with Deagles, with Tech 9s. But I can't sit back and say that G2 played in their A game there, Scrawny. I feel like that's their C or D game, honestly. That was a very disappointing performance on Nuke. After such a massively one-sided performance on Inferno, I can't believe how quickly the tables turned.
I'm just honestly quite shocked. Again, not because it was like a super CT sided first half and then just like a clinical showing of a T side. You know, it's not like the gun rounds were just cookie cutter clean. It was quite nonsensical at times. But I will say, there's one man out there who even after Inferno, the map choice of Riders being a blowout, still believed in the Riders 2-1. That's our producer, Pythian Legume, who somehow seemed to know that this shit was going to go down, man. So I don't know what's in store for us on Mirage. I don't know if G2 are going to bounce back with a vengeance or if we're going to get the same G2 that was unable to win a best-of-5 finals with a map advantage. We'll find out after the break, ladies and gentlemen. Final map of the CS Summit 6B stream coming at you in just a little bit.